world of content now, so you need to put out as much content as you possibly can.
This is A Band's Life, a video podcast where musicians share their experiences so we can all better navigate the music industry. We talk about jobs and touring, relationships and social media. Since this is the first episode, and I'm hoping to do many more of these, if you know of any bands you think have it locked down, go ahead and send me an email with their contact info. We'll see if we can get them on. So last month I was in Chicago and I dropped by the practice spot of a band that I mixed called Werewolves At Hour 30. Kind of a mix between Foo Fighters, Queens of the Stone Age, and Kings of Leon. We talked about their band life, relationships, jobs, and how they navigate the music industry. So without further ado, here's episode 1 of A Band's Life.
Hello, I'm Art.
I'm James, and we're Werewolves at Hour 30. We're in Chicago, Illinois, on the west side of the city. We've been here for, I've been here for about 10 years. We as a band have been here for about 4.
4 years in this room, yeah.
In this room, yeah.
It's a small room, about 12 foot by 14 foot, and we treated it the best we could for sound, and it works for us.
Yeah, this place has been a staple in Chicago for a while. I won't mention the facility, but there's a lot of other bands that rehearse in here, and it's a good spot.
Yeah, it's a sexy place, like downstairs. I remember we were going downstairs. You were showing me a little bit about it.
Yeah.
And it looked nice in the inside. It's like,
Yeah, they have tons of other bands that play in this, and then touring musicians will come through and use some of their hourly facilities downstairs before a big show. So we see a lot of people in and out of here.
That's cool. So, like, you've been a musician? Have you been a musician, like, just playing out for 10 years, or?
I've been playing music for 20 years. I've been a gigging musician for the past 11.
You are?
Me, I've been in and out of bands since college. Started 15 years ago. I think I've been gigging for about 10 years now. Didn't pick up the drums till I was actually 18 or 19 years old. So.
Cool. So you mainly guitars, drums?
Drums, yes.
Yeah.
And then
Nice.
we have a guitarist and a bass player too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're working, so that's one of the struggles of being in a band.
Yeah.
As a band, do you guys bring in money? Do you guys gig out? Do you guys get paid for your gigs? Or do you guys just sell merch, or what?
I don't know any band or any musician that doesn't have multiple sources of revenue. So we look into that whenever we're playing a show. So we get money from the shows. We also get money from merchandising. And then there's a little bit of revenue that comes in from licensing and
Streaming, with digital
but
platforms.
that's very, very little.
Yeah, it's
So-
tenths of a cent per stream, but
Yeah.
it adds up, and eventually you get a cut.
Would you say that you get a lot of streams online, or you think still people are kind of buying stuff? Or
I mean, if you put it across all the platforms, we do get a lot of streams. I mean, if you add up, Apple and
We're in the
Spotify,
tens of
it's-
thousands, but like I said, it's like a tenth of a cent per stream, so it's not a big paycheck from that. So
Yeah.
more of our money comes from probably gigging, getting paid for gigs, and selling merch at the shows.
you say the vast majority of what you bring in kind of comes from gigs.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, what kind of jobs besides that do you personally to, like, pay for the bills?
I work in the city as a bartender. I also do some stuff with some marketing companies and staffing organizations. I'm doing a party with Lollapalooza this weekend coming up. Do a lot of things.
I work as a firefighter out in one of the northwest burbs, so I work 24 on and 48 hours off, so I have, working every third day, I get the other 2 days to do this, essentially, so.
That's really cool. Does that work well with what you guys are doing, or is it really hard to get off, say, like, if you have last-minute gigs or something?
Well, there's no perfect situation as far as working and being in a band, especially when you have 4 guys that need to get together in a room and plan on playing, shows. You're always trying to schedule. So there's no perfect job for it, but we try to stay in positions that are flexible enough that allow us to come here and do that. It is our passion, so going into any job, I let them know, like, listen, I have this, and I have to make time for it. And Art's, go ahead and you
Yeah, I mean, we all have different work schedules, and we just text each other and coordinate to try to get in here at least once a week, and usually we're able to do that every now and then, someone can't make it, but we still get in here and
Yeah.
work on material and rehearse for our gigs.
Are, like, employers and generally down with what you guys do, or do you think you've ever been, like, turned down for a job because of something like that?
It's possible. But for the most part, everyone that I've worked with has been pretty flexible about it.
For me, it's just, I have 2 days off in between 24-hour shifts, so it's just, it works out for me.
How's the sleep schedule with that?
Oh, it sucks. You know, you get back at 3 or 4 in the morning from a gig, and then I got to be at work in a few hours and work a 24-hour shift. So it's rough, but you know, it's my passion. It's fun for me. You know.
That's cool. I mean, helping people and making music, that's pretty awesome.
He's my hero.
And you're mine.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Do you guys live together? Do you have other friends, maybe bands that live together?
We have lived together.
We did live together for a little over a year, and we kind of ran our own merch sweatshop out of our apartment there. We figured out how to make our own silk screens for our shirts.
Minus the child labor. Didn't have that.
Yeah, we didn't have that. It was just the two of us sweating in there. We were silk screening our own shirts in the kitchen, and literally taking the shirts and putting them in our kitchen oven to cure them, you know, and so we were cranking out shirts, you know, to save money.
Did that work well, or
Yeah, we sold all those shirts.
We sold all those shirts, but it was a mess. The pink got everywhere, and it's a lot more work than people think. But you know,
That's cool.
we have a very do-it-yourself attitude. You know, we make our own merch, some of it. We recorded our own album in here in this room. You know,
Yeah.
small.
We
room.
do all of our own designs. We're a DIY band. I think that's kind of what it takes nowadays. Because if you pay other people to do it, then you're losing all of the revenue you
You're
make.
losing a lot of money here.
I was going to ask if you guys do graphic design yourselves, or
Yeah, I do a lot of
I
graphic
don't.
design.
He's really good at it.
I do a little bit of. I'm getting better at doing like video editing and stuff like that. We live in a world of content now, so you need to put out as much content as you possibly can, and that's always been a struggle because if you're focusing on putting out good music, practicing, then also focusing on putting things on your social media, pictures, video, just letting people know that you're still around, it is a constant struggle. So it takes that mindset to constantly working and putting out new material.
I feel, to be in a band these days, you have to be a jack of all trades. You got to be your own self-promoter, you know, you got to be your own social media guy, you got to, you know,
It's a
and then
bus.
there's the music on top of it.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse because, I mean, letting people know that you're around before the social media age, it was a lot different than it is now. So now it's possible to just throw something online and let 1,000 people know, hey, we're going to be doing this. But there's so much other content out there that it kind of gets drowned in the mix of everything else that's out there, and you have to be on top of it. You have to be constantly putting stuff out there, otherwise no one's going to know about you, and
get
you
lost
just
in the
get ignored.
vastness of everything out there.
So,
kind of a big shift from nowadays is you guys going to have to be your own business. You have to promote your own stuff. You got to market your own stuff. You got to do your own graphic design.
Yeah.
That's a big change from, like, say, the ideas of the 90s. And I still sometimes, you know, I feel like bands are still like, you know, if we get signed, and for some odd reason they think that that's going to be like the end-all be-all of everything to, you know, getting out there, so have everything done for them. I mean, it's nice to see you guys, like, you guys realize that you have to do all these things yourself.
Yeah.
Like, no one else is going to do it.
It's a lot of work, but,
it's
it's fun.
I talk with a lot of old school musicians. I work with a lot of these guys that have been around playing gigs for 20, 30, 40 years, and listen to some of them talk about how they used to travel across the country and get gigs is ridiculous, because they used to just pick up a phone book, call up somebody in the city and be like, hey, where do bands play? And then they would call the venue like, hey, we're coming through the town, can we get a show here? And then they would get on a bill someplace, and they would do that every stop along, you know, this big tour across the country. Nowadays, you need to know somebody at a venue, you need to know, you know, a talent buyer or a booking guy or somebody just in order to get your foot in the door. And there's so many more bands out there now than there used to be. Like, you're always fighting. So
I also feel like a lot of places, not all of them, but some promoters judge you based on your social media content,
Absolutely.
your followers, you
Yeah.
know, but those can be bought, you know, you can fudge those numbers too, so it's kind of a struggle to keep, you know.
we played a couple of shows with bands that this is the thing that don't do this. If anybody's watching this or looking at this, don't
not
do this.
do this.
Don't buy your fans on Facebook or any social media, because you could buy them from another country and get thousands of fans, and then you'll get booked for these shows. And then
nobody
once the
shows
talent
up.
buyer realizes that you have nobody coming to this show, you will get blackballed in your city and you'll never play a show again.
We've seen it happen.
Yep.
It happens.
So you guys share a lot of responsibilities. Does the other guys in the band help out too?
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a huge commitment recording the album in here because, you know, we share this space with not this particular space, but across the hall and next door are bands playing. And to record, we had to show up as early as 4 or 5 in the morning, so it's quiet in here before, you know, everyone else starts practicing and their stuff's bleeding into our recordings. So
Yeah.
For a good few months, the guys were coming in here real early with me to record the thing, and I was really appreciative of that.
It was great.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, and we're never doing it again.
Yeah, not that way.
So you guys would rather like rent out space or whatever?
No, we've got another recording studio now. Art's got a space.
I currently lease a co-op recording studio that I have access to, so
Yeah.
we recorded our recent single there.
Nice. You guys gonna start recording other bands too, or you know?
I'd like to eventually, yeah, once I get more comfortable in there.
You think that'd probably be a little bit easier for bands to kind of get into since they're kind of, you guys are already kind of recording yourself. I've seen a lot of bands record themselves.
You know what? That's the way that it's really gone. Because nowadays you can get a lot done with a single rig recording studio that you would have had to rent out
in your own
studio.
bedroom, even if you got the time.
It's been unfortunate, but I've seen a lot of really, really great studios go out of business because they're just not picking up
That's true.
enough bands coming through or whatever. So.
Being in LA, I see big ones go out all the time. I mean, that's stuff that I've worked at before.
Yeah, Sound City was a huge one, obviously.
Yeah,
The
luckily some people have bought that
technology
one.
and equipment has come a long way since
Oh, yeah.
I started. The old 4-track tape cassette.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And we used to have one of those Porta Studios in the 90s. Yeah, I mean, I even had other things that were like pseudo computer based at the very beginning.
Oh yeah, those are garbage too. The early ones,
Roland, whatever it is. Yeah, it's
the ones that recorded straight onto a CD.
that
Yeah.
too. Yeah. Oh my gosh. But yeah, now
Oh, we use those.
going through those. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've recorded on every piece of equipment you can think of.
Nice.
Varied results. Let's just say that. Varied.
You guys have like any kind of a band agreement between you guys, or is it just kind of all word of mouth? Like because I imagine you guys have to kind of own some of the stuff in the band, like.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone kind of has their own equipment in here. And then when it comes to the music, when we released the album, everybody just got like 25%, rights credit and, composition rights to all of it because we all work on it together in here, It's a team effort.
Yeah, it's a very complicated thing when you talk about ownership of music. But we do split everything evenly. Making revenue on that doesn't really come into play because we're not making a ton of revenue, so nobody's really fighting over it.
It all just goes towards other expenses like buying more merch and paying for gas and van rentals.
Pretty much the money that goes in goes straight back out.
Goes straight back into the band. Yeah.
You guys have, like I talked about earlier, a lot of people are still interested in like, I really want to be on a label or something like. Have you guys have any interest in that, or has anybody had any interest in you guys?
We were approached by some independent record labels, and we decided not to just because it didn't seem to fit our. I don't know how to explain it.
Well, yeah, we about a year and a half ago, maybe.
Yeah.
We were approached by a label up in Madison, and they wanted to sign us to a contract with them, and it was a good deal. Good licensing, good distribution, but in the long run, for what we were trying to accomplish, it seemed that we could probably do what they were doing.
What they were offering us ourselves.
Yeah,
and like I said, we have a very do-it-yourself attitude. And
that's
everything.
Kind of the way that I've seen a lot of the other bands go. Maybe one day we'll change our tune and get on a label, but for right now, I think we're going to stick independent.
It's a loaded question.
It's a loaded question. There's a lot of ins and outs to that, but we're independent.
Pros and cons to each route you take.
Yeah, we're happily
for us.
independent.
This works. Yeah.
Is there anything like that you've gleaned from other bands and artists about working in the industry that you were like, wow, that's super, like that information I would have never thought of on my own, like?
I mean, like we've definitely stolen a couple of things from other bands as far as being an independent band. The DIY thing, when I
sure, yeah.
Yeah, like I saw, when Chance the Rapper was coming up in the city, like he had a whole team around him, doing their own T-shirts, doing stickers, going out and street teaming, and that's the kind of stuff that you have to do just to stay relevant and be an independent label band. So that's something.
Yeah, like if we're playing a gig with another band and their merch is awesome, we'll talk to their guys and be like, hey, how'd you guys get this made, or how'd you do this? We network and try to help each other out, That
said, a lot of bands have stolen stuff from us too. Like we'll go out and we'll show off something and be like, oh my god, how did you do that? And we're like, oh, we did this, and like then we'll see they've picked up that. So,
do you say like Chicago has a lot of camaraderie like that within bands?
Oh, you have to.
Absolutely, yeah, you have to in the music scene here, yeah.
I've always said that being in a band doesn't start and stop when you hit the stage. Before the stage, going up into the show, after the stage, talking to fans, talking to other bands, talking to the venues, that's all a part of it. And if you suck at one thing, then it doesn't matter. You suck at everything.
Have you guys done any like tours around the area, or how does that? How's Chicago with getting gigs like that? Is it big enough you think to sustain everything, or are you guys good to go out?
Yeah, getting out is good. Getting out and playing shows out in the suburbs or other outlying states in the Midwest is great. We've done not necessarily show swapping, but we know a lot of bands that play in different regions that love us and we love them, and we'll play with them in a show here, and then we'll play with the show.
They'll get us on a bill out there because they have, the network there.
Yeah.
And then if they want to play in the city, we'll be like, hey, we'll get you on a bill here with us. And
yeah. It's all about the draw, like something about playing out in the middle of nowhere to a bunch of people that you've never played with, other bands, you never know what to expect. So to have a little bit of confidence that you're going to get a crowd makes a big difference.
How do you feel about like what we'd probably call in the industry like pay-to-play situations? Do you have those out here?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Totally against it.
That was one of the things when we were offered the label. We've always set goals for ourselves, and when we went into this meeting to sit down with this label, they said like, what do you want to accomplish? And we said like, in the next year we want to do this, we want to do this, we want to play some shows with some headlining acts from touring bands across the country. And they said, oh, no problem, we'll get you on some touring, some big band shows, but you're going to have to pay for it. And that was the first time I really experienced the idea of pay to play. So there's a couple different labels that have bands that are still trying to pay off the money that they were given to them by their label in the 2000s or 90s. And one of the ways they do it is they have these bands come on to their shows.
Upcoming bands pay to play on their
$300 or $500 to be the opening acts for their headlining show. And I guess it's a necessary evil, but we've never gone down that route as of yet. So maybe it's something we'll end up having to do, but for right now we haven't done it, and I'm personally kind of against it. So
same here.
Is this getting too depressing yet?
No, dude, it's great, man. You guys, I was like, oh, cut some stuff up. Like, you guys are like succinct. Beautiful. You probably answered these questions before. How about like relationships, girlfriends, kids, family, whatever? I don't know much about you guys. I mean, like
I always used to joke that being in a band is like being in a relationship, but with like 4 or 5 other people, however many band members you have. Just being in a band itself is like that. And then we have girlfriends and whatever, they come and go, and
it's never been,
it's never affected our friendships or anything.
No, and it's never been a deciding factor in a relationship. Like I get along with all the women that have been in my life. It's been fine.
It's like that.
It's like anything else. You have a job and you have to balance relationships at home and family and work, and the band is just one of the things. So if you can balance that, then.
And if you're in a relationship, you got to be with someone that's supportive of your passions too. And
not to say there's definitely volatile people in this industry, maybe more than other industries, but it is it's a business. Being in a band is a business, so you have to treat it like that. So you have to balance that, and every girlfriend needs to know that it's a part of your life.
Yeah. And of course it's difficult,
or boyfriend,
coordinating
or
things between practices, shows, and spending time with your significant other, Yeah. But I'm sure it's like that with other people's jobs as well, so I don't think it's a situation that's unique to us.
Probably should turn that off.
No, you're fine.
The hiss.
There'll be music underneath it a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Throw a filter on here to get...
Exactly.
A little delay, some echo. We like After Effects.
Have you guys ever tried any like the gig industry stuff? Like Ubers or the Postmates or the things like that? I know that a lot of times I'll see artists and be like, oh, you could just do this, you could just do that. Like
I'm
Uber.
not sure I'm familiar with what...
We're talking about
Uber?
Oh, Uber?
I like drive.
Yeah, but
like,
what is...
jobs.
Have we ever driven?
Yeah, have you guys ever done stuff like that? Or known other bands that have gotten... like that do that, since it's more of a
flexibility.
Yeah, more
flexibility and schedule.
No, I know people that have done that. Not me personally.
No, not very happy about it.
Same here. No, I have a job.
Actually, I got picked up by a friend of mine who was driving Uber, and I took a picture with him. He's like, "Don't you post this online?" Because he manages other bands, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Nothing to be ashamed of.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
It's a good source of
money
income.
on the side.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So. But no, personally,
I don't think any of us have been in a situation yet where we've had to do that.
No.
That's cool.
We were able to coordinate everything with our work schedules and get in here and get some work done.
Yeah, I started doing stuff like that 3 months ago. I just wanted to try them out.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to see, like, as maybe a part of this kind of deal. I was like, well, you know, I'll try this out and see if this works for people. And it's like so hit and miss for so many different things. So I was wondering, like, do artists, do musicians and people in bands actually do this? Like, because everyone said you could always do this. Like,
Yeah.
can you? Like, does that work?
I think like anything else, if you don't give it enough of your time, if you don't put enough energy into it, you're not going to see anything come back to you. You get the result of the hard work that you put in.
You get in,
anything.
you get out what you put in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're Werewolves at Hour 30. We're a 4-piece rock band, alternative rock, original material from Chicago, Illinois. We have a full-length album called Black Denim that we released last year. It's on Spotify. You can find any of our
on
stuff
all
on
the
social
digital
media.
platforms. Yeah.
We are putting together new material this year, and we'll be playing shows in the Chicagoland area. So look us up and come and see us play, and we'll rock your world.
And we've got a single coming out shortly.
That's right.
Real soon.
Thanks, guys, and appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One of my favorite quotes from this interview was when James said, "We live in a world of content now, and you just got to put out as much as you can." And we all know it's true. It's a lot harder in practice, though. We have lives, we have school sometimes, we have relationships other times, we have work, and trying to find that time is hard alone, but then to try to prioritize that time to find out what's the right thing to do is also hard, because there's new social media popping up every day, new websites, new ways to try to reach your fans, try to find your fans, and just as many distractions for those that might be your fans to do other things. So if you guys have more questions for them, or if you want to add questions for me to ask other bands, let me know. Put them in the comments, and send me an email. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please share this and subscribe, and hopefully we can do a lot more of these.